Good morning, students. So today's class is Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, Chapter 2. So full name is Nelson Rohil Lala Mandela. Right, so this is an extract, okay, from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. So autobiography means a story of one's own life, okay. This is a story about his own life, Nelson Mandela. Now, everyone knows that Nelson Mandela, he was the first black president of new nation. Let's see what happened here. So before we read, apartheid, you know apartheid, right? Apartheid, discrimination, okay, racial discrimination is a political system that separates people according to the race, according to color. So can you say which of these three countries named below had such a political system until very recently? So USA, United States of America, South Africa, and Australia. If you could identify which country has this racial discrimination until very recently. South Africa, yeah. So the white people discriminated the black people, isn't it? That's called apartheid, discrimination, okay. Next, have you ever heard about Nelson Mandela? Everyone have heard about Nelson Mandela, right? So Mandela and his African National Congress spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. So Nelson Mandela, he's from National Congress, okay, African National Congress. So they spent half of lifetime fighting against this apartheid, to fight against this racial discrimination by the white people towards black people, okay. So for that, Mandela had to spend 30 years in prison. See, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, okay. During his struggle for freedom, he had to spend 30 years, 30 in prison. Finally, democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994, and Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. A new nation is South Africa, okay. So finally, what happened in South Africa in 1994? There was an election, okay, democratic election, and Mandela was elected as the first black president of South Africa. Okay, next. So in this extract from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. So this story, Long Walk, is taken from the extracted, mistaken from Long Walk of Freedom. So this is about his, life story, okay, a true life story. Mandela speaks about his historic occasion. Now he is speaking about historic occasion, okay, the inauguration. You may underline this word, the inauguration, okay. Can you guess what the occasion might be? Check your guess with a news item from BBC of 10 May 1994. If you want, you can check it from this BBC, or you can Google it, you get information, okay. So what is that occasion, historic occasion? What is that inauguration? So inauguration is the oath taking, oath, O-A-T-H, oath taking ceremony for the first democratically elected government in South Africa. So that was his oath taking, okay, oath taking ceremony. All right. So students, let me quickly read out this paragraph. Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. Okay, you know that. So Nelson Mandela has become the South Africa's black president after more than 3 centuries. Here, 3 centuries means more than 300. Yeah, 300 centuries. Well, 300 years, okay, of white rule. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress, ANC, African National Congress Party, won 252 out of the 400 seats, and in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. Okay. So Nelson Mandela has become the first black president in South Africa, and more than 3 centuries, more than 300 years. Okay, they were under the control of the British, the white rule, okay, white people, okay. So they have been fighting more than 3 centuries, 300 years, and this African National Congress Party won 252 seats out of 400, okay, and seats in the first democratic election of South Africa in South history. So out of 400 seats, Mandela's African National Congress won 252 seats. Okay, next. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Buildings amphitheater in Pretoria today, attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. Never, never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address. Alright, students, if you want to underline this word amphitheater, the amphitheater means a very large building, okay, without a roof. It's a very large building. You'll find this word meaning in the next page anyway. So it's a very big building without a roof. It was very common during Greek and Roman Empire, long time back. So the inauguration ceremony, okay, took place, or the oath-taking ceremony took place where? In the Union Buildings, a big building in Pretoria today, that day, okay. Attended by so many politicians and dignitaries, respected, VIPs and all persons, more than 140 countries around the world. And here in his speech, Nelson Mandela said that never, never, okay, this African country, very beautiful country, will experience the oppression of one by another. We will not be under the control of any other nation. So oppression means like it's kind of cruelty, okay, or unjust manners. So he said we will not be under the control of any other nation in the world. The jubilant scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremonies with black, white, and color, celebrating together. More than 1 lakh South American men, women, and children of all races sang and danced with joy. So on that day, what happened? See, more than 1 lakh South American, African people, women, children, all of races, okay, they sang and danced with joy here on the Pretoria street, okay. So many black, so many white, different colors, okay. Jubilant means happy, isn't it? Joyful scenes. You can see the joyful scenes on that day with more than 1 lakh African men and women, children of all races dancing together with joy. Alright, we'll go to the next page now. So students, here this is page number 17. It's an activity that you need to do, but then let me straight away give you the answer, okay? To save the time, and please go through it home. With the meanings, okay, A, rainbow gathering, different colors, nations. The answer is here, a beautiful coming together of various people like the colors in the rainbow, okay? So this is number 1 answer. Here, students, you do not need to memorize it, okay? Just try to understand it, that's all. And 2, the seat of white supremacy, your answer is the center of racial superiority, okay? So it's 1 and 2. And 3rd one, be overwhelmed with the sense of history, and the correct answer is here, the last one, okay? The last one, feel deeply emotional, remembering and announcing, okay? And the next one, resilience that defies the imagination. The correct answer is here, the first one, and a great ability, almost unimaginable, to remain unchanged by certain, okay, done. Next, a glimmer of humanity. The answer is here, a sign of human feeling, goodness, kindness, pity, justice. This is 5. And the last one, a twilight existence. A half secret life like living, finding between sunshine and darkness, okay. So students, just go through it and try to understand it, okay? As I said, you don't need to memorize this, yeah? Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next paragraph. 10th May, it was on the 10th May, okay? May 10th, dawn bright and clear. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. So besieged means to be surrounded closely by, okay. So it was on the 10th of May, okay? Dawn bright, and it was very clear, okay? Dawn very bright and clear. And Mandela said that he was all surrounded, okay, by all these world's VIPs, dignitaries, and world leaders. For the past few days, he was being all surrounded, okay? He's surrounded closely by all the leaders to pay their respects before the inauguration on the oath-taking day. And he said that this inauguration will be the largest gathering ever international leaders on South African soil, okay? So this oath-taking day or oath-taking ceremony or the inauguration day It will be the largest gathering over all the international leaders South Africa ever, in South African soil ever. Okay, next. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater here, I've told it before, a building without a roof with many rows of seats rising in steps, typical of ancient Greek and Rome, okay. Formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria, for decades this has been the seat for white supremacy, and now it was the site of rainbow gathering in different colors and nations of installations of North South Africa's first democratic non-racial government, okay, great. So that inauguration ceremonies took place in the lovely amphitheater made of sandstone, isn't it, in Pretoria. And for decades, this seat was being owned by the white supremacy, the white people, okay? They were the owner of this seat for such a long time. So these black people were under the control of white, okay? White people. But now, today, it has this white supremacy has changed. It is the side of rainbow, okay, gathering different colors. And for the installation of South Africa's first democratic, now South African, okay, they have formed a democratic non-racial government, non-discriminate government, okay. So apartheid has been removed, yeah. So the South African, they have achieved their freedom, okay. They have struggled for freedom for such a long time, and at last they have achieved their freedom from the British, okay, from the white people. Okay, next. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Jizani. So on that day, it was in autumn season, okay, 10th May. He was not alone, but he was accompanied, okay, by his daughter Zinani. On the podium is a kind of, that lies, stage, not stage, sorry, the stand or pulpit, okay, that was on the stage, okay. Mr. de Klerk was the first sworn in second deputy president. So on that day, along with him, okay, along with Nelson Mandela, this person, Mr. de Klerk, he was sworn as the second deputy president. Then, next page. Then another person, Daboto Mekibi, sworn in as the first deputy president, okay. When it was my turn, when it was Mandela's turn, he pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and devote myself. So he promised to obey and uphold the constitution, also devotes himself to the well-being of the republic and its people, okay. To the assembly, to the assembled guests and the watching world, he said that to all the assemblies, all the guests, okay, and all the world leaders were watching, all the world's watching, isn't it? So he said in front of them that today all of us do by our presence here confer glory and hope to the newborn liberty. He said newborn liberty, freedom for the South Africa out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster and lasted too long. So they were under the rule of the white people for such a long time, so it's like a human disaster, okay, for them. So you must be born in a society which all humanity will be proud. So he said that now we have got a freedom from the British, from the white people. So this is a newborn liberty, okay, born again society which all the humanity will be very proud and will be very happy. We will be no more under the control of, under the bondage, okay, of the white people. Confer is here, given here, okay. We who were outlaws not for so long have today been given the large privilege to be the host in the nations of the world in our own soil. We thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of a country of what is, after all, common victory for justice, for peace, and human dignity. So look at the words meaning first. We were outlaws because of its policy of apartheid. Many countries has earlier broken off diplomatic relationship with the South Africa. Okay, so because of the diplomatic policy, okay, some of the countries has been broken the relationship with South Africa. So we who were outlaws, so South Africans were outlaws for not so long time. They were outlaws before, now no more outlaws, okay, but today see, they have given the privilege to be the host, to be the owner of nation of in their own soil, okay? And Nelson Mandela stated he thanked all the distinguished, all the international guests, all the world leaders, okay, to come there, attend the ceremony, and take position with the people of country for what is all. See, this is a common victory for justice, for peace, and human rights, okay? Okay, so freeing from the white people is a victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity, for all the people of South Africa, okay? And he thanked you, Mandela thanked to all the guests, the distinguished international guests, all the VIPs, okay, for coming there to attend the ceremony, okay? Next, we have at last achieved our political emancipation. Emancipation is freedom from restrictions. Yeah? We place ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination, okay? So Nelson Mandela said, at last they have achieved the freedom, okay, from restriction, and they promised themselves to liberate, okay, to all the people from bondage of slavery, suffering, gender, and other discrimination, deprivation, and all. Yeah. All right. So never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. So on that day, Mandela clearly said that never, never that South Africa, the beautiful country, will be under the oppressions of one by any other country or by any other nation. So South Africa will be free forever, okay? The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. So he said, let freedom reign, okay? God bless Africa. So let freedom rule over the people of Africa. God bless Africa. And sun will never set. Likewise, our glory for the human achievement will never end. Okay. This oral comprehension check, I've already given you the question and answer. I hope you are studying at home. Let's go to the next page. Here, the next page, number 19, yeah? Question 3, 4, 5. I've given you all, okay? So study at home, students. Let's move. Now let's see what happened next. So a few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troopers carriers roared in perfect formation over the Union buildings. Alright. A spectacular array means impressive display, color, and attractive. So on that day, what happened on that inauguration day, yeah, a few moments later, all of them lift their eyes in respect, okay? And they saw a very impressive, colorful, and attractive display, okay? They saw the African jets, helicopters, and troops, army carrying roar in the perfect formation over Union buildings. They saw jets, helicopters, and troops, army, okay, marching on foot in a perfect formation over the Union buildings in Pretoria. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Okay. See, that was not only, to display military force, to display the military, the jets, troops, helicopters, and all, but this is also, to pay respect, military respect to the democracy or to the new government that has been formed and fairly elected. Only moments before means the highest generals of the South African Defense Force and Police, their chest betek means covered, okay, covered here with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged their loyalty. I was not unmindful of the fact that so many years before they would have not saluted but arrested me. So before that, what happens in the army general, okay, the highest army general of South Africa, defense force, with the force and police, and all with their chest ribbon, okay, covered with all ribbons. They're ranked like ribbon and what colorful ribbons and medals, okay, on the chest, like in army, right? You might have seen the ribbons and medals on the chest. They saluted Mandela on that day and promised their loyalty, that they will sacrifice their life for the nation, okay? And Mandela, he said, see, long time back, before so many years, okay, this army general, okay, they did not salute him, but they arrested him instead. Yeah, and he was in prison for 30 years. Remember that? So, long time back, no army general, saluted him. But now the time has changed. See, now they are saluting in front of him instead of arresting him. Okay. Finally, a shell of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, and blue and gold of the new South African flag. So this is the color of the African flag: black, red, green, blue, and gold. New African flag. Okay. And finally, what happened? A jet, okay, Impala jet in the form of V-shape left a smoke trail, okay, with the smoke, okay, of the color black, as we have seen even in Independence Day. Yeah, the Indian Army on the helicopter or jet, see, left a smoke trail, okay, of the tree color. So it's the same thing here. The day was symbolized for me by the playing of two national anthems and the version of white singing Nisoki Sikilel, Africa, okay, and black singing Daistem, the old anthem of the Republic. Although that other native group knew the lyrics of the anthem they once despised, they would soon know the words by heart. Okay, so that was symbolized by playing two national anthems, okay? Version of the white singing Nikosi Sikilel, Africa, and the black singing Daistem, okay, and all anthem Republic. Now, even though those days the people did not know the lyrics of the national anthem, had a very low opinion of it, but now they will soon learn words by heart. Okay. Next, on the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history in the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth. The white-skinned people of Africa patched up the differences and erected a system of racial domination against the black-skinned people of their own land. Okay. Now, on that inauguration day, okay, here remember the sense of history. Okay. So in the first decade of the 20th century, what happened was that a few years after this war, Anglo-Boer War, and before his birth, the white skinned people of South Africa patches up the differences, and they erected a racial discrimination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. So here, the white skinned people, okay, they discriminated the black-skinned people, okay, in their own land. So that happened during 20th century, right after Anglo-Boer War. So Nelson Mandela was recollecting all this incident, okay, on that inauguration day. All right. Now here, the structure they created formed the basis of one of the most harshest inhuman. So it was so inhuman, okay, the harsh one, okay, the system that they had created, okay, very inhuman and the worst one societies the world have ever known, ever seen. Now in the last decade of the 20th century, but at the end of the last decade of the 28th centuries, okay, not like the first decade, but the last decade of the 20th century, in my own 8th decade as a man, the system has been expunged, overturned forever, and replaced by one that recognizes the rights and freedom of all the peoples, regardless of the color of their skin. Now, after that, what happened? Last part of the 20th century, everything was overturned. All the system has been changed and replaced, okay? So everyone were treated equally, okay? Whether black or white, all were treated equally, okay, regardless the color of the skin. See, they recognize the rights and freedom of all people. All right. On that day had come true about the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I feel that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. So here, Mandela gives, due credit to all the other leaders who sacrificed their lives in order to bring this freedom to these people, so of his people, okay? So there are many of them, okay, sacrificed their life, okay, to get the freedom, see? The freedom, courage, that can never be counted, can never be paid, okay? And he felt that he's just a sum of all those African patriots who had gone before him, okay? Who had gone before him, and most of them have already died anyway. Not that long and noble line landed, and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them, and that was that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. So here wrote means, on English, done or achieved, okay? So Mandela, okay, he felt very so painful that he could not able to thank the leaders, okay? The previous leaders, so many of them sacrificed their life. Thank them, so he was so sorry that, and it was so painful that he could not able to thank them personally, okay? And they were unable to see this day, okay, when they have achieved their freedom. Okay, so he was feeling very painful. So the policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. See, apartheid, okay, discrimination. They have created a very lasting wound, okay, in his country and his people, and all of them will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from the profound hurt, deeply hurt. So all the people, African people, were deeply hurt by this apartheid discrimination, yeah. And it will take many years, spend many times, years, if not generations, okay, to recover from this hurt. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it's produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walmer Cicillas, the Chief Lutulis, the Yusuf Datos, the Brown Fishers, the Robert Subukwes of our time, men of such extraordinary. So students, if you look at the picture here, these are some of the prominent names struggle against apartheid, okay? You may just go through it. Those are leaders struggle against apartheid, okay? And men of such, let's go to the next page. There are men of such, extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. See, perhaps it requires such a depth of operation to create such heights of character. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that the greatest wealth in its people are finer and truer than the purest diamonds. So Mandela said those extraordinary leaders' courage, wisdom, and their generosity, okay, may never be known again, okay? And maybe it requires an operation to create heights of character. My country is rich in minerals and gems that lie beneath, okay? Mandela says that his country, okay, is rich in minerals and gems, okay, that lie beneath its soil, beneath the earth, isn't it? But he always says that the greatest wealth is not the minerals, the diamonds, the gems. The greatest wealth is the people. The people are finer and truer than any purest diamonds. So students, let me stop here for today because it's a very long one, and the remaining I will continue in my next class. So let's say this is the first part of this story, okay? The second part should be continue in my next class. Right, so students, you may quickly write down the homework for today. I'm giving you just 3 homeworks, okay, today, okay? Write it down here. Nelson Mandela, yeah? 1. Who all took oath of office along with Nelson Mandela? Number 2. Why did the display of air power at the ceremony demonstrate? And last question, which event symbolized the day for Nelson Mandela? It's all for 30 to 40 words, okay? So students, that will be all for today. Thanks for being with me. I'll see you in my next class. Until then, you take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.